So maybe you're sitting in your basement and all of your miniatures are painted because you're independently wealthy, or a Time Lord, or an independently wealthy Time Lord. But if you're anything like me, you're sitting in your basement and the majority of your miniatures are not painted. Here's why. Big main reason: it is way easier to buy miniatures than it is to paint miniatures. It's much quicker. You could do 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 a day, easy, until you run out of money. But the actual action of doing it is very quick. You get excited, you see a new miniature, you buy it, now you have it. And then the process kind of goes off the rails sometimes. So here's an example. This is a female Nova Corp officer from the Chronoscope line from Reaper. Good manufacturer. It's a good fig. I like the fig. It's sculpted by Bobby Jackson. I've bought a lot of things that have been sculpted by Bobby Jackson. I purchased that at Gen Con, I think in 2004. Still in the blister pack. This is my point. It's so much easier to have these good intentions and say, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to use it for this game, or I'm going to do whatever, and then it sits in a drawer in your basement. You only have so much time, but the thing is that there are a lot of things out there that are also trying to suck that time away from you. Obviously, you have to go to work. You have to spend time with your family, I guess, whatever. You have to sleep, in theory. But you do end up sometimes, most people do have some sort of free time. If you don't have free time, then I do wonder what you're doing playing miniatures, possibly even watching my video. But the trick is that if you do have free time, you have to be able to figure out the best possible way to allocate that free time and to use it for painting and building and turning your miniatures from this into something finished. I don't have anything finished right here, right now. So I can't just pull that up and go, look, this is finished, because I don't. I've got a lot of things that are close. This guy, he's almost finished. This lady here, she's almost finished, but not completely finished. Generally, it's a problem of motivation. Because there are so many other things out there to catch our attention in the modern world in which we live in, movies, video games, e-books, regular old books, comic books. I can just go down that rabbit hole for a good long time. The fact is that you have to be interested in actually getting the painting done. And many of you, I'm sure, are. I am as well. I rarely play video games anymore because I think to myself, I could spend the time on the couch with the controller in hand, or I could spend that same time in the basement painting. At the end of the 2, 3, 4 hour stint, I'm either going to have a flatter behind, kind of molded into the couch, or I'm going to have some painted miniatures. And a flatter behind molded into this chair, but still, I'm going to have something to show for it besides that. I have found that things that keep me motivated into painting, letting other people know that you have a plan to get things done. And I don't just mean, hey, I'm going to get a whole bunch of things done. That's not going to help. People say that all the time. My point is that, say, this weekend, I'm going to try to get my Malifaux crew finished. Something even as simple as that. If you tell some people at the shop, they might ask you on Monday morning, or whenever you might see them next, hey, did you get that Malifaux crew painted up? Did you get that done? So letting people know that you're going to be doing something and that you have a plan is going to hopefully, in some situations, cause you to actually go through with it. Other things, forums. There's a lot of different forums out there for the hobby, and a lot of them have painting challenges. So what that is you go onto the forum and you say, for June, let's say, I'm going to paint this, 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 and this. And then at the end of June, all the other people who filled out that same thing on that forum post come back and they say, well, I got it done, or I didn't get it done, or whatever. Something like that. It's not a contest, you're not going to win anything, except that you're actually going to have things finished at the end. But it is something where now you've let other people know, if you constantly don't get your painting done in your, painting challenges, your hobby challenge, people will start to rib you on the forums, and you'll be looked upon as a person who doesn't get things done, and some people just don't like that. So they want to make sure that when they say, I'm going to get this stuff done by the end of this month, it actually kind of spurs them to do it. Another way that I find that motivates me is a to-do list. I've got a smartphone, like many of you do out there. There are plenty of to-do list type apps that will allow you to put in, all right, I want to get this guy painted and this guy painted and this guy painted, and I got to get 3 of these guys painted because I have a game coming up in 2 weeks or whatever. So now you've got that list, and you don't get sidetracked and start painting something else when you actually need these things painted for your list so you can play, let's say, in this tournament in 2 weeks' time. Those kind of things help a lot. I also, on my smartphone, sometimes just set appointments, like to remind you to go to the dentist. I'll set an appointment to remind me on Tuesday night to make sure that I start painting at 8 o'clock. So otherwise, I might sit and watch TV a little bit longer than I'd meant to, or I might sit on the computer or surf the web. But all of a sudden, if my phone starts beeping at me at 8 p.m. and I go, oh, that's right, I was going to try to get those guys painted tonight, then you go down to the basement and you work towards it. We live in a world with plenty of technology that can hopefully help us to do the important things in life, like paint our little metal and or plastic men. So make sure to use those things to help you reach your goals, because otherwise you're going to end up 60 years old with a basement full of miniatures who are still in their boxes, possibly still in their blisters. And then you're going to eventually run out of time.